Hi, I am your host, Lyanette Talley, and you are listening to Virago 24/7. Virago is Latin for female warrior, and 24/7 is for all day, every day. Virago 24/7 is a weekly podcast that brings diverse women together to talk about life and our experiences in this world. We share our views on self-love, mental health, marriage, children, friendships, and really anything that needs to be talked about. Here, you will find everyday growth, everyday healing with everyday warriors. Just give me my space to move. 'Cause it's my thoughts, what I want, and I want what I want. I have a friend with me today.
Yeah.
Shiny.
Shiny's back in the house. It's been
Shiny
some time.
like the sun. So we literally been talking for
some time.
Like an hour.
Honestly, we can talk and I don't even see the time pass.
We should.
Because there's really good conversation.
Well, I feel like we should have pressed record because we're talking about all this different stuff. But anyways, before we get to it, welcome back. It's been a minute. We've been trying to get you on. Life happens.
Yes.
Things happen. So I'm happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be back because I feel like in this journey that, you know, when you started the podcast into now, I also have been going on my own journey of growth and learning. And it's been great because I think 2020 was so devastating to all of us. It's not just me in so many ways. And devastating meaning, you know, sometimes I know it was good for some people, but I would say devastating for most.
I think it's, even if it wasn't, quote unquote devastating, it was like for everyone, it was a year of transformation.
Yes.
Or purging or letting go or realization. There was a lot of things that came with 2020.
Yes, there was a lot. And it gave us a time to reflect and actually figure out what we wanted.
Exactly.
So I think that was what it did. And, you know, I like to say that it was a blessing in disguise because if it had not happened, I don't think I would have taken the time to think about all the things that I wanted for change to happen. You know, that's, you know, for people to change or for things to change, usually some kind of event has to happen, some traumatic event, you know, you've moved, someone's divorced, a new baby has come, like something usually has to happen in your home for things to happen. And I think when the pandemic happened, we were all in it together and we were all going to go and change. And from what I've read, the pandemic has changed personalities. Like when I say that, I don't mean like some dramatic personality, just meaning something in your personality has changed a bit, you know? And I'm hoping everyone for the good.
So what's been going on? So what changes? Let's talk about these changes, Shiny, because I know you were like, I have so much to talk about. And so we were talking about so many things for an hour before I was like, let's just press record because this is fun. So we might go on a roller coaster. We might not stay on topic. We're just going to go on a roller coaster, but we're talking about friendships and like how parenting and just like your perspective has changed with all of it.
Yes.
So where would you like to start?
So I was going to say, I know that it seemed like we were off topic, but really I think the topic is the same. It's just that recognizing like that growth. And I that's what I've noticed about myself. So I was going to say, let's talk about friendship because I feel like this is a really important one for women, especially because I know there are a lot of women listeners here, and we all care about our friends, and we all, I think, strive to have good friendships. So I think that's one of the things that I've learned so much about, and where I am right now about my feelings of friendship is I want the kind of friends that understand me and we get each other and it's easy. And you know what I mean by easy,
yes.
Lyanette?
Yes.
Meaning you can be your complete self. So I was listening to Brene Brown and she was talking about belonging versus fitting in. and how they're totally different. Fitting in is, you have to fit into the group of friends or the place, and you have to acclimate. You have to, maybe present yourself in a certain way, say things or not say things that, no one can get offended or feelings can't be hurt. But true belonging is belonging in that group or place just as you are, and being accepted just as you are. And that's where I am. The friendships that I've had for forever and are still my friends, they accept me just as I am. I accept them just as they are. But in this phase of life, when we're mothers, married, in this time of life, we also need friendship. And this time of my life, I've really struggled with finding like-minded people.
Yeah. Yeah, it is hard. And I agree, because if you all know, if you've been listening to me, I don't like superficial. I like deep. I can have superficial acquaintances, but I don't necessarily call them friends. It's like, yeah, I know that person. I can see them at the grocery store. We can chit chat. But do they know my deepest, darkest secrets? Do they know all of me? Probably not. I just call them acquaintances. And, if you've also been listening, trust is one of my biggest issues. So I don't trust easily. So if you come in my inner circle, if you're in my inner circle, like, all aspects of me, the shitty parts of me, the awesome parts of me, the mean, I might have said something mean once or twice before and I've had to apologize because of it. So you've seen all of that and you're still here, and I can let my hair down and know that I'm not going to be judged by these people. And that is like a awesome, awesome feeling to have. But it's also recognizing are people, sometimes they act like they might be your friend or they have your best interest at heart. But then when you dig deeper, I can spot that from a mile away. But I know you, Shiney, since I've known you, I'm like, girl, you need to open your eyes. So I feel like you're coming around to really seeing people for who they are.
Yeah, and this is
finally.
This is not like an age thing,
no,
or anything, because you said it yourself that you saw that in me a long time ago.
Yes,
but I did not, and so I realized that So in the beginning, when I realized that, or I learned that some of the friends that I was friends with weren't really my friends, that they didn't have my best interests at heart. They weren't true friends to me. And the truth is, I think at my first feelings, when I first started figuring it out and seeing it, I became the victim. Oh, how could they do these things to me? But what I've learned that I contributed to it. I contributed to the problem, which is because we teach people how to treat us. Mm-hmm. And I was teaching friends and people that whatever you need, I am right there. You can, and I'm not saying that I think friends should always be dependable and there for you. But what I mean is I became the friend that somebody would lean on more than they need to, not in a healthy way.
Well, you overextend yourself. You're the kind of person, it's I will bring you breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you're sick. You'll bring all the meals. You come and visit and you'll bring a small gift.
Yes.
You're just always available and there for people.
Right.
And those that crave that or need that for whatever reason, maybe they didn't get that as a child. I don't know. I don't know the reasonings behind it. They crave that, so they latch on to you.
Yes.
And you become theirs, and they don't want to share you with anybody.
I think that was the part that was hard to understand, because yes, I was like that. So I thought that people would see that as, hey, that's a good thing. I'm a friend who is going to be there for you no matter what. You can lean on me. But what I learned is some of these people were well, she's mine and she can't help anybody else.
Yeah.
Or she can't invite anyone else over to her house or to the pool or to whatever she's doing. It can only be me.
Yeah.
Because that makes me feel special and me important, and I'm her friend. And I realized I was also doing it for another reason. I think the main reason I was doing it in general is that I thought that if I didn't show up for people in that way, where I was bringing meals, always checking on them, if they needed help with childcare, whatever it is that they needed that I wasn't, that they would no longer need me or want me. And I felt that I couldn't just be a friend. I couldn't just be like, this is me, this is my flaws, this is everything, without giving something of myself.
Where do you think that comes from? So you in order to feel accepted, quote unquote, feel accepted, you had to show all of these things
to see that I'm worthy enough.
Yeah.
I now, because I've done a lot of work. It comes from my family. I was told I was worthless. Those exact words. I was told, that if I didn't look a certain way, or if I didn't have this degree, all these accolades, that I'm not worthy enough, and no one will want me. So, and I was told, like, this is what people think of. I was not only just told that this is what they think, but I was also told that this is what other people think of me too. So I have carried that for so long, where I thought, like, no one's really going to want to be my friend in this time of my life unless I do something for them. Because just me, just as I am, just accepting me just as I am, just coming over and just hanging out and talking isn't enough. So I would say that this year, 2023, I always try to set an intention every year. My intention for this year is to work on the relationship with myself, because it's, for so long, I have been so mean and so hard on myself. And when a friend gets disappointed that I didn't do something for them, I immediately am so hurt, because what I've learned is when I don't end up letting any of these people go. We talked about this.
Yeah, which is interesting, because I'm okay with letting people go, but you like to hold on to them no matter what.
I hold on
and
to
you,
them.
Not that I don't value friendships, I do, but you really value them. Like, that is like your, aside from your boys, like, that's what you really, really value in this world, are friendships, which is interesting to me, because to me, I'm like, I sound like such a bitch when I say this, but I can just let them go because they were around for that season. Or maybe I just haven't, maybe this is what's going on. I haven't had to let go of, like, my friendships that I've had for a long time. Maybe if that became an issue, maybe I would think differently. Maybe the people that I've let go have been more like acquaintances. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning, but I've been okay with letting certain people go.
Okay, so I know exactly why I'm doing all the things I'm doing now, or had been doing. So for me, the reason, yes, of course, my boys, everyone knows. The reason my friendships are my family is because that's really is my family. Without getting too deep into that, because I'm not ready for that yet. But my closest people that you expect to be there in any situation, the closest people in my life, by blood or not, have been very hurtful, and not so positive, and have said some things that you just never forget. Because, they would say sticks and stones break your bones, but words never hurt me. No, I don't agree with that at all.
I agree with you. Words hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I've had both. And I would say that definitely it has not left me. It is actually something that I have to work on every day, because the problem is it's said by people that you really admire and you really look up to, and you hold them really high on a high pedestal. And when they say things like that, it's crushing. So then those words became my words to myself.
Yeah. So
every day I have to do something where I have to say something nice to myself. And if I think something not nice, I have to tell myself that's not true. And in order for me to even believe that, to get where I am, honestly, it took a lot of work. I know I have said before that I've been doing therapy for some time now. I am, well-read, and I'm also trying to find like-minded people who also, are going through things as I am, but also learning and understanding that that's not what we want for ourselves. So I think that for me, my friendships have been number one, because the friends that I've had friendships as long as 40 years. So since I was a little girl, and I've kept them, and they are like family. If I were to say just today, like, something's happening in Pittsburgh and my friend really needs me, but I don't know what I'm going to do and how I'm going to get there, one of my best friends would say, tickets already bought, you're taken care of. Like, I feel that the friendships that I've made are like family. They will be there for me. I will be there for them. They accept me just as I am. I can be my complete self. And that's why when I moved to Atlanta and I knew I needed to make friends because this is the new home. I also wanted friends because I'm a mom. The two new things in my life was I was a mom and I was married. So I knew I needed to find friends in this phase of my life. And I learned that I started treating these friends just like they're my friends back home. Mm-hmm. So I think right away off the bat, I was, there for them, cooking for anything that I would have done for any of my best friends, I was doing.
And you have a history with those best friends. Like, it's been years in the making. Yeah.
You're right. And I think that was my bad. I think I don't do this vetting process where I'm like, you know what? People need to earn my trust, and they also need to show me that they really are my friend. I didn't do that.
We're so opposite, because I'm like, I need to vet everybody.
No, I think that's
and
great.
We've talked about that, where you're like,
that's wise.
You come in as you are, and then I'll decide. And me, I'm like, I need to decide first, and then you can come as you are.
And you know what? That's you being very protective for yourself. And I think for me, I wasn't protecting myself, because the truth is, I feel like I guess I was, number one, I'm so hopeful to a fault that I see the best in every person. And I think that's also a reason people hold on to me the way they do. They're like, Shiney makes me feel,
with all my flaws, she makes me feel like I'm the best person on this planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and that's to a fault, because I don't ever vet that person. I never say hey, I take things slow. I don't say little bits. I give my all, and to a fault.
So you came to Georgia swinging, ready to, not swinging, but ready to have the same relationships that I've had since I was a baby.
Yes. And And I think the thing is, I had such a great positive experience in the past that I thought I would have no problems here. Mm-hmm. And I would say that this has been the most, and I've lived in a lot of places, but this has been the most difficult place I've ever lived in to find real friendship. Mm-hmm. But I also,
why do you think that is? Because you grew up in Florida, and you've been overseas in Europe,
so and I still kept all my
why
friends.
Georgia? What is it about the South?
I have to say,
there's a lot of fake people.
There is some qualities that I guess I never had. Is the gossiping, talking behind your back, criticizing the way someone looks, so I had been exposed to some of that where, I made some friends and that's something that they would do,
just sit around and talk about that. Yeah.
Right. So I think,
I told you I was allergic to that. I grew up with someone in my life that she gossiped a lot. And it was like constant. So I'm like, I'm highly allergic to gossip. Listen, we all love a little gossip.
Yes.
But there's a difference between like relaying like, hey, Shiney, this is what happened. Like, you'll never believe she said this and she said that back to her. That's different than this person. Like, did you see her pants? Did you see, oh my gosh, her hair? And like, she's such a bitch. Like, did you like nitpicking every little thing? I don't like that. And my thing is like, if you can't say it to that person's face, shut your trap.
Agreed.
There's some people that can say it to your face, say it behind your back. I respect those kind of people. It's the majority that they can say all the things behind someone's back, but the minute they come in front of you, oh, I didn't say that. Oh, it's a pet peeve of mine.
Well, I also think like what I realized is I met so many women who've never had a real friend. And the truth is, you have to be a good friend to have good friends.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really the truth. I think now I would say that one of the qualities I do look in someone when I meet them is, do they have good friends? Do they have friends, of quality that they've had for some time and, that they have in their life. So that means that they know how to be a good friend too. Because the truth is, if it's always one way and you're always the one that's there for them and it's not the other way around, like friendships, any relationship, it has to be reciprocated.
Yeah.
You can't feel like I'm always giving or that person's always taking, because it runs out. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I've noticed. Do
you think, before we move on,
sure.
do you think, because I'm like, what's the difference? You moving to Georgia. So you grew up in Florida around, you're Indian.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you grew up in that community.
Yes, that's
so true. It's all like-minded people, same culture, same, like you guys get each other, right?
Yes.
When you go to Europe, Europeans are way different than Americans as far as like friendships and gossip and all of that. It's very different. I mean, I was there as a little girl. I'm sure it hasn't changed that much. So you had those friendships, which is very different. So I'm thinking, because I'm trying to connect why, and then you come to Georgia, it's very American, very, can I say, like, it's just not, you're coming, like, okay.
I'm not in that safe pocket.
I'm trying to be PC, but let me just throw it out there. We're minorities in a white world. Like, we come to Georgia and it's a lot of white people, which is very different than our cultures, right? And so it's having to, like, you and I have talked about this before, and I'm sure I've said it on this podcast. We have to assimilate to them and not the other way around, which could be very exhausting. And then you just see the difference in our cultures, their cultures, how we grew up, how they grew up. It can happen. I have a lot of friends from different backgrounds, but I think that's the difference.
Yes.
I need to make sense of all of this, Shiney.
Okay. So, you know what? You pointed out something. You're right. So I would say that I was in a bubble because my parents were immigrants and I only hung out with Indian people. Went to an all Indian church. We all went to school together. We were our whole Sunday school class from kindergarten till senior year. We're all together and we all ended up going to college together too.
Yeah.
So you're right. So I had this familial group of people that I'm still friends with today. And we've been in each other's lives, each other's weddings, and we're still in each other's lives. Till today. Yes, still today, visiting each other no matter where we live. when I went to public high school, because my parents, obviously we all went to the same schools together, but when I went to public high school because my parents moved, I did meet non-Indian friends and made friends with them. So, and they are actually still in my life too.
Okay.
So I think I had a good, like perspective of, or what's the word? Like I had a good vision of who they are. And I guess I thought to myself, maybe that's my superpower.
Yeah.
My superpower is I can make really awesome friends. And I think your story is your story. So I thought, okay, I've had this many friends for this long, and now I've had this friend since high school. I know how to be a friend. And that is actually still true to today. I do know how to be a friend. The problem is the friends that I was making, not all the friends I was making know how to be a friend. They definitely liked and enjoyed my friendship, and I enjoyed theirs too. But it's, I think it's a learning process. Like they're just not where I'm at. And maybe they will be one day, to give them a chance. And I think that's also something about me is that I give people a lot of chances. But the pain and hurt that I have felt living in this time of my life, from friends is insane. I have become friends with and then have been dropped in a heartbeat because of things like I didn't do the things that were expected of me. And what I realized is when someone who doesn't know how to be a friend becomes friends with me, they're enjoying the friendship. But if I've noticed like jealousy, I've noticed like possessiveness, I've noticed, like just control.
And I was saying, these people, like before we started recording, I was like, they thought that you were easy to manipulate and easy to control. And maybe there is some truth in that.
Oh, yes. I think
maybe you did allow it.
Yes.
Until you didn't. And so then when you didn't, then it's like, wait a minute, what is happening with Shiney? And so then it just would become a shit show after that.
Yes. I think that every friendship that has not worked out for me here, there is something in common. The thing that's in common is I realized I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore. Yeah. It could be not inviting them to something or that we used to do all the time together, or not making a meal. I have been even dropped for that. Like,
I remember that story. Yeah. Tell us.
Well, okay. So I feel like the meal train thing is a very popular thing here, but before meal train became a thing for me, before that, if I knew a friend was sick, or a friend just had a baby, or they moved, or they're just having a really bad day, I would bring a meal. And that was my way of showing love is through my food, just giving somebody, a warm meal, and it made me feel good. The problem began is one of the friends I was friends with, got mad at me and sent me like a text saying, because I would say it too. I would, like, if someone called, I'd be like, oh, I'm about to drop a meal to so-and-so. I mean, I wouldn't advertise it on social media, or wasn't anything that I used as like, oh, I'm such a good person, I do this. It just happened to be that if I talk to someone on the phone, or honestly, if people know me and get to know me a while, they know that I do stuff like that.
Yes, you do.
So it's not something that, it's just something that comes naturally from me, and I enjoy it. So that's one of the things I do. But what I realized is she was like, well, when my foot broke, you didn't bring me a meal, and you're bringing her a meal at this time. You're not a good friend to me. So it became, and I don't even know how to respond to that, because the way I see it is, for me, friendship is love. For me, it's love, and you cannot measure love. You can't say, I love this amount and this many gallons or this many, for this person and that person. Like, so that's how I feel about friendship. Like, I feel that we have to be confident in the friendship and know, like, she cares about me, I care about her, and it's not to be compared.
Yeah.
Because comparison is the thief of joy. I always think that, once we start comparing to somebody else or there's something else, you're immediately taking away your happiness. And I feel like the friendship has to be like, I also realize that I only want to be friends that would be happy for me and happy for that other person.
Yeah. Wow, Shiney, that's awesome that you did that. Yeah.
That's great that you did that. I'm so glad. Instead of thinking, well, I was actually sick last week and she didn't bring me a meal.
Yeah.
And I try, the first few times when someone did mention it to me, I would say, to be honest, I can't always be there for everybody. Like this week, there is a neighbor on my mind that's not feeling well, and she is on my mind. I definitely want to bring her a meal. Definitely, and I would say, if God places someone on my heart, I won't be satisfied until I've actually, gone in and checked on them and brought them something. But the last few days, I've had a horrible migraines, and I didn't send emails or texts like, hey, I'm not feeling so good. That's why I'm not able to take. I just know that right now, it's time for me to take care of me, and let me take some time for that. And when I'm able and when I can, I will. And that I'm in hopes that my friend or neighbor knows that whenever I can help, I'll be there. And it's not an expectation. I think that's what I don't want anymore is I don't want people. I want people to be happy that I'm their friend and that I would be there for them, but not be an expectation.
I don't see that as real friendship though.
Right.
That's not a real friend. And maybe you didn't know, are you still friends with this person that was upset? Because I know you said it's hard to let go of them. Or is she still around, Shiney? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Holy crap. Okay. I want to hear this justification. Are you serious?
Okay, so this example, yes, she did let me go because she got so frustrated.
She let go of you.
Yeah, she did let go of me. Okay. Yes, she did.
Did she come back like a boomerang? Oh shit! Really? Excuse my language. Yeah, okay, we can say shit on this podcast, can't we?
You're okay. Yeah, she did come back, and you know what? And I gotta say that she came back with saying she's had growth and she's had this and that and all this stuff.
Well, people can grow and change. Did she? Has she? Girl, oh my gosh, she hasn't changed.
You know what?
She hasn't changed.
I feel like when people listening to this podcast are like, Shiney is
a pushover.
Yeah. And okay, so yes, I am very tenderhearted, and I give people chances. And
so she's changed, but she hasn't changed.
Yeah, I would say that. You know what? Just like me, I feel like I'm a work in progress. I'm continuously learning and growing. And
I know, but
she is not.
But you really are, because I see a difference in you. So you really are putting in the work. You can't just say, "Oh, I've changed," and you haven't changed.
Yes,
that doesn't work for me. It might work for you, but it doesn't work for me personally. Because
I think that some people may, they do change a couple things.
Okay.
And then they go back to their lives. But for me, I feel like I'm constantly having an intention for my day. Like my son the other day said, "What are you excited for?" "I'm excited to go to Florida." And I'm excited, because I remember, always looking for something to be excited for. And but I said to him, I'm happy to be here right now.
Yes.
And I think that's a change too. The journey is the destination. I'm not always looking for instead of saying when I lose 30 pounds, I'm going to be really happy. When I, go on that trip, I'm going to be really happy. So I am trying to learn to be happy right
in
now,
the moment. Yeah.
Because it's a choice.
Yes.
So I think
it's definitely a choice and a mindset, because I've been on that journey as well. And it is liberating. It's hard to stay in the moment, but it is.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It is. But I definitely think it takes work. And I've realized that because I'm so open and loving, and I try to I really do intentionally try to be kind to all people. The problem is, I can't save the world. I can't like try to be like nice to every single person and expect that that's going to help them in their life. And I think that that's something that I had to learn too, is Mother Teresa has a quote that says, if you want to change the world, go home to your family.
Okay.
And the truth is, that's what I have to, that's what I am on now, is that I work on myself. I help my family, and I definitely will be there for any friend, but with boundaries.
Okay.
And I think that is...
So you let her back in, but you have boundaries in place.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for sure.
That's better.
Much better. Much better. And
That's good to hear.
I also think, like what I was saying earlier, how you can't measure friendship and love.
Yeah.
In my head, I know now who my real friends are. And I, I've always actually known who my real friends are. I think that I was trying to replicate those friendships here, because I think my mindset was, oh, I lived these places for 30 something years. I'm going to be here for another 30 years. It would be great to have those friendships here, like where I met. And then I'll have, when we're 70, and I think that's what I want. And that's what I aspire to. And I'm not going to ever give up that. I'm not going to have those great friendships here. I just know now that,
you have some of those friendships here.
Yes.
You just probably don't have as many as you probably would have envisioned when you first moved here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say, I think the thing is, I had really high expectations. And I think having expectations are resentments waiting to happen.
Yes.
Which is when you put all these expectations and then you start getting disappointed. So I think I went in with like blazing, like, yay, I'm an awesome friend and I'm going to make awesome friends. But I realized, like, okay, not everyone is, meant to be my friend.
No.
And also I realized, like, you know what, we all have families. Like everyone has, people have kids or spouses or partners and work and life happens. So you can't actually build the same exact friendships as easily either. Because when we're all in school together or we're playing outside together all the time, these friendships happen quickly. Whereas here we make time for this. What I've realized is that my time is actually precious.
Yeah.
And I think I've never given myself those things. Like I haven't given myself that, oh, I'm a good friend. My time is precious. So those that I do make the time for and that I do kind things for and I do everything should be worth that time too. And that I feel confident both ways. Because a friend recently asked me, do you feel confident that your good friends are really your good friends? And I said, yes. And I think that that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And I think for some time I wasn't sure. And the ones that I'm not sure about are not. Are not. And maybe they will be one day, maybe they won't. We don't know. But I think like putting everything into that basket like the way I was.
Yeah.
And I think
you were putting everyone in we're great friends on the verge of being best friends basket. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't even give that title, but I think I was becoming their best friend. Because I think I actually have a few friends who've called me their best friend, but because I probably was, or am, because they never had a friend that did all that for them.
Yeah.
But the truth is they've never done it for anyone either. So I think, because I've recognized in people, like if people don't live close to you or they're not convenient for you, then they automatically get knocked off the list. Whereas that's not for me. That's not me at all. If a friend is a friend, regardless of distance and regardless how often you talk, but when you do talk, it's like no time has passed.
It's like you just talked to them yesterday.
Yeah. And you know what it is? The common denominator in that all is that the friendship is easy. Difficult friendships aren't going to really last for the long haul.
And easy doesn't, because we talked about this too, easy doesn't mean no conflict.
Yes.
Because people assume, oh, there's no conflict. Everything is always peaches and cream. That's not true. It's being able to discuss the hard stuff, knowing that it's coming from a good, loving place, and that we both know that we love each other and we just need to get over this conflict.
Yes.
And that there's no hidden agenda, or, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes there's conflict and there's like hidden gossip or like hidden,
or it can be made bigger.
Yeah.
It can be made bigger. Where you're
not listening to each other.
Yeah. Or you're talking to other people instead of talking to the person you actually have the conflict with. Like,
so easy to me doesn't mean there's never conflict. There's never any, it's just your respect level is the same.
It's easy to come to them.
Yes.
Like the thing is, I think that that's also important, right? That you like whatever, and it could be scary. It could be like, hey, this really bothers me. But the fact that you could go into that person instead of triangulating, which means you bring other people into it. You go to that person first.
And women are masters at that.
Oh yes,
masters. Like, it blows my mind sometimes, like, and that's why maybe I don't trust easily too, because guys are different with their friendships. And I remember like in high school, I'm like, oh, I get along better with guys, because I did hang out with guy friends, and I don't know if a lot of them had crushes on me, but whatever. I put them in the friends, but I still got along with them. It felt easier. It didn't feel as dramatic. And, I did have a few girlfriends, but like on the outside of that, I'm like, oh, these girls are catty or very cliquish, or I just wasn't into that. Mm-hmm. And we don't really grow out of it. Some of us don't really grow out of it. We just stay the same. And so yes, we get married and yes, we have kids, but you're still this catty little person. And so that's why I'm wary. And I've always been wary. I don't know. I think it's just my personality to be wary of people in general, but women are masters of just being so freaking catty and so just me. So the one time that I find someone who isn't like that, I'm like, okay, this is my person. And I don't really feel like I need a whole lot of people. I've just come to the realization it's okay to have like a small community. We don't need, not everyone that I meet has to become my friend. Yes. If they do, wonderful. If they are an acquaintance and I put them in this box over here where, you know what, I can hang out with you, but you're not going to know every single part of me. And that's okay. Yes. We have fun. We can have dinner. We can have great conversation, but you're over there. And that's okay. That's what I'm realizing, that not everyone has to be a friend and not everyone needs to be an enemy either, because I can go both ways, like I could be a hard ass when it comes to that. So it's just like letting it be. Like, I don't know. I think in the past 2 years, I've just learned just to be like, not overanalyze everything. Like, it's just so like, let's just take one day at a time and one moment at a time. And it's just been, because my word of the year is calmness. Just being calm. And it's only 3 months since the year started, but I feel like it's over-analyzing friendships and this and that. And if it starts feeling complicated, then let it go. Like, I think you were asking, how do you let someone go? Sometimes just let it fizzle out. We don't have to have this dramatic conversation. It's just, okay, I don't return a phone call and it just fizzles out.
Yes.
She don't call me back. I don't call her back, and it's okay.
And I think
we had some great moments, and it's okay.
I think the reason that I had a hard time with when you said that is, and that's happened to me before, of course, like for both sides, like either I stopped or the other person. And I even messaged, I remember someone, and just telling them that I'm so busy right now in this time of life. Like, I'm sorry that I know I said I'd come over and help you with your baby or something. And I just can't. So I have done that before too. And but I think the person knows, like, if they really needed something, of course they could call on me, but I just can't do it. I think my problem is, or not problem, but what I've recognized, what you just said, is I think I'm also at a point in my life where I'm recognizing who are my friends, and it's more quality than the quantity. And I think that because I had so many friends when I was younger, I think I thought that's like something that you have to keep going. But, like you said, there are friends for a reason, friends for a season, and friends for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So I feel like there are friends that are my lifers. And then you're right. Those were some people, we were great friends, and it just, the time is over. And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And I think that's where I'm learning that too. And also what I've learned is sometimes we overthink as women. We think like, oh, this is why this person's not friends with me, or this is why this person didn't invite me to this event, or this is why this and that. And truthfully, it's really not any of that. There is a quote by David Foster Wallace that says, if people would stop thinking about why they're not like being thought of, or then I'm not doing it justice. I have to actually tell that to you. I really want to say this properly because I feel like this is so important, because people always think that the person is like thinking of them like, oh, this, that. But really? Actually, people are not. People are thinking about themselves. It's really the truth. Like when you walk into a room, people are always like, oh, I'm wearing this dress and I shouldn't have wore this. And I'm like, no, they're just worrying about their own outfit.
Well, Philip and I did a few shows about the 4 agreements.
I love that
and
book.
It's like going back to like assuming. And it's like you're so selfish to think that everything revolves around you. You're assuming all these things. You're taking these things personal when you're in your own head. Nobody's looking at you or thinking it. And if they do, then that's their issue.
Yes.
Just walk in, fly as can be, with your head up, held high. And
right. And the people who are thinking like anything bad about you,
that's on them.
That's not your people.
Nope.
That is not your people. Because, people actually seldom think about us.
That's true.
They're thinking about themselves and their own stuff.
And when I was younger, I've said it multiple times that I used to be so self-conscious because I thought everyone's staring at me. Everyone's looking at me. Oh my gosh, I have to like kind of shrink myself so that I'm invisible because I don't want to embarrass myself or look silly or look crazy. And oh my gosh, that's so exhausting. I mean, I know it was like a little nugget back in the day. I think I kind of grew out of it in my late 20s maybe, but just feeling that insecurity is exhausting. And I feel for people that, especially women that are in their 40s and 50s that still hold on to those insecurities. Because you were even saying, you're like, you've learned instead of having to like hash out every little thing and vent, that you're learning, okay, why do I feel this way?
Yes.
Why am I feeling jealous? Because like you said, we're human. We're going to have these feelings. There's nothing wrong with it, but just understanding, why am I feeling this way? Is this something that I can figure out on my own without having to like make a big deal out of it?
Yes.
And I thought that was really cool that you said that.
Well, because before, because I do, like I said, I do have lifelong friendships that I could pick up the phone at any minute. It could have zero to do with them or have any clue about even who I'm talking about. And I could completely vent it out. And I think as women, this goes back to, remember, women feeling the need that they need to feel like validated by somebody that like, hey, I'm having these feelings towards Lyanette. Do you think they're valid? So I think I understand all that.
Yeah.
But I think I'm learning now, which is really new for me, is that when I have those feelings of being left out or, wanting to be included or wanting something to go the way I would want it to go, or any kind of feeling of insecurity, loss, jealousy, any normal feeling, I talk to myself about it first, about like, why am I feeling that way? Am I going to be okay? Yeah. That person has every right to do what they want to do. And even if I did feel left out by that person, it really has to do with me. Yeah. And that's me being always hopeful to not think the worst of others. And I think that's why I've gotten hurt so much, is because I'm always thinking the best. But, thinking the best, continue to think that, because I don't think that people have this like malicious intent all the time to like go out and hurt me or leave me out.
Some people do, Shiney. There you go, thinking the best of people. I'm like, some people want you to go down.
You're right.
There are some evil intentioned, is that a word? Intentioned people? Evil intentioned people. I don't know.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think that I have met a fair share of some haters.
Yeah.
For me, I have.
So Shiney and I talked for about over 2 hours. So I'm going to cut this in several parts. This is part 1. Come back next week for part 2, where we continue talking about friendships, and then we go into some parenting things. Yeah, like I said, it's a roller coaster. All right, see you guys back next week. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Virago 24/7. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and please give us 5-star ratings. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Virago24_7 and on Facebook at Virago24/7, and just connect with us and share your story. We'd love to hear from you.